Welcome to Tales of the Twisted, where true stories of the strange, weird, bizarre, and eerie remind us that the world will always be stranger than we can comfortably accept. Today's story ventures into territory that challenges science, psychology, spirituality, and perhaps the very concept of identity. Across cultures, across continents, and across decades, children as young as 2 and 3 begin recalling detailed, emotionally charged memories that seem to belong to someone else. Not imagined, not vague, not dreamlike, but names, places, addresses, professions, and deaths, often later confirmed through records. Researchers have collected over 2,500 cases of such children worldwide. This episode will explore 4 of the most compelling and documented cases, the children whose minds seemed to hold memories not their own. This is The Boy Who Remembered His Past Life. Parents often describe it the same way. The child begins speaking about their other mommy, their old home, or life before they were born. But the case of James Leininger stands above almost all others. James's story began with a nightmare, a recurring one. Night after night, James woke up screaming, thrashing in terror, crying words far beyond a toddler's vocabulary. "He's going down! Little man can't get out! Plane on fire!" His mother tried to comfort him, assuming he'd seen something on TV. But James didn't watch violent shows. He watched Barney. Eventually, as his speech developed, he began answering questions. He said he flew a plane named a Corsair. He described the way the plane's wheels folded underneath in a unique pattern and insisted Corsairs always blew tires. He described the smell of the cockpit. He explained the way the harness buckle worked. He talked about being shot down. His parents were overwhelmed. This wasn't imagination. This was procedural knowledge, something adults train for. When asked who shot him down, James answered immediately, the Japanese. He said he'd flown from a ship named the Natoma Bay, and that he died near Iwo Jima, and that he had a friend named Jack Larson. Bruce and Andrea Leininger began investigating, and here's what they found. The USS Natoma Bay was real. It fought at the Battle of Iwo Jima. A pilot named James Huston Jr. died there, shot down by Japanese fire. The ship's logs matched every detail James gave. A pilot on that ship? Jack Larson. Just as James said. James identified Huston's picture in a photograph among 200 other faces without hesitation. There's also a lesser-known detail. When shown pictures of the pilot's family home, James pointed out the dining room set and claimed, "That's where I ate." He also recognized Huston's sister by name, decades after her death. For the Leiningers and for researchers, this went well beyond coincidence. One psychologist noted, this child's memories behaved like trauma, not imagination. The next case, the story of Ryan Hammons, carried a different kind of weight. Emotional memories that felt lived in, full of regret and longing. Ryan's mother first noticed something odd when Ryan, barely 4, began pretending to direct movies. He arranged his toys and gave them stage directions. He yelled, "Cut!" with surprising authority. He asked about casting calls. Then came the nightmares. Then the questions about his other home. Then the name Hollywood. He said, "I used to live there. I had another mommy. I had a big house with a pool. I worked in the movies. I had a wife who was mean to me. And perhaps the heaviest statement of all, I didn't spend enough time with my family." Ryan also remembered the number of cars he owned, the street he lived on, and the name of a nightclub he frequented. Dr. Jim Tucker took the case, and he's one of the most documented reincarnation researchers in the world. After months of searching through old Hollywood photos from the 1930s and 40s, Ryan was shown a black and white image from the film Night After Night. Without hesitation, he pointed to a man in the far background, not an actor, not even a speaking role, and said, "That's me." The man was eventually identified as Marty Martyn, who later became a Hollywood agent representing major stars. Researchers verified Martyn owned the exact number of cars Ryan listed. He lived on the street Ryan described. He traveled to the cities Ryan mentioned. He had the marital tensions Ryan described. And he died at 61, not 59, as records incorrectly stated, but Ryan said that's when he died. Ryan knew something that Hollywood historians did not. His emotions were also striking. When shown Martyn's old home, Ryan cried. He said he missed it. His mother recalled that his memories faded by age 7, a common pattern Dr. Tucker found in hundreds of cases. The memories arrive suddenly, burn brightly, and then fade. In Scotland, a boy named Cameron began talking about another life before he could form full sentences. He spoke of a remote island near Barra, nearly 200 miles from his home in Glasgow. He described a white house near the beach, a black dog, 3 siblings, a mother with long dark hair, airplanes flying so low they shook the windows, and a father named Shane Robertson. His mother had never heard of Barra. They had no family ties to the island, yet Cameron asked to go home every day. Finally, researchers took him there. They recorded dozens of hours of footage of Cameron walking the island with confidence no city-born child should have. He identified the beach, the roads, the direction the planes came from, and then the White House. It existed exactly where he said it would. The name Robertson appeared in the island's records. Even the number of siblings matched. Cameron became emotional, telling his mother, "I'm happy. I finally found my home." His mother later said, "What happened there felt like watching someone remember something instead of imagining it." In India, reincarnation stories are culturally accepted, but some cases still shock even the most open-minded families. T2 Singh began speaking of another life by 18 months old. He told his grandfather to take care of my wife and children. He criticized the poverty of his new home, saying he used to be wealthy. He said he lived in Agra, owned a successful electronics business, and had been murdered outside his shop. So, researchers followed him to Agra. To everyone's shock, T2 walked directly to the home of the victim, a businessman who was shot dead outside his store. Inside the home, T2 embraced the man's widow. He knew every room of the house. He pointed to the place where his former life kept his tools. He identified his former children by name. He cried, saying, "You didn't do the funeral right." Witnesses described the moment as devastatingly real. So, what do we make of all this? Dr. Ian Stevenson, the pioneer of reincarnation research, documented over 2,500 cases across 40 years, and he and Dr. Tucker found several patterns. 1, the children often show strong emotions: fear of water if the previous person drowned, fear of planes if they died in a crash, phobias that are linked to the past life. The memories start early and then fade by age 6 or 7 in almost every case. Many children show birthmarks or physical anomalies that match the wounds of the deceased person, something that remains completely unexplained. The details are often obscure, not famous cases. These are not, Marilyn Monroe or Elvis memories. These are just random people, pilots, clerks, farmers, agents, ordinary, everyday people. Researchers verify details through documents that the families often didn't know existed. Now, there are some skeptical theories. Scientists propose cryptomnesia, if I'm saying that right. It's called accidental memory absorption, confabulation, parental coaching, pure coincidence. But these explanations struggle with cases where children can identify dead strangers from photos, give correct historical details later proven accurate, know names, hometowns, spouses, and causes of death, travel to places they've never been, and navigate them correctly. Even skeptics admit these cases are unusually difficult to dismiss. Perhaps the most haunting part is how the memories fade. The children grow older, they lose the vivid images, the emotional weight dims, and then life goes on. But for a brief window of childhood, they remember someone else's life more clearly than their own. Are these memories, trauma echoes, something in the subconscious, or something more spiritual? A return of unfinished business, a soul re-entering the world, what have you. No theory explains them completely. And so the stories remain documented, detailed, impossible to ignore. Children who remembered a life they've never lived and then forgot it all over again. Thank you for listening to Tales of the Twisted. Cases like these force us to confront the possibility that consciousness may be far deeper and far stranger than we imagine. Join us next time as we uncover another true story from the eerie edges of reality. Until then, stay curious, stay unsettled, stay twisted.